morning to all of you. Economic times. And whenever I used to go to his house, which was every day, I used to see the economic times. But the paper was so boring because his headline would be something like iron prices go up, iron prices go down, copper prices go up, copper prices go down. And when I never heard of seen annual reports. And in the early 1980s when I started working and went to Bombay, I saw annual reports of companies like Reliance and all. In those days, annual reports were quote unquote not sexy at all. They used to be printed on cheap paper and distributed like that. But those were early days. Annual reports were a mandatory requirement, and the Indian economy was in the pre-liberalization era, so it was a controlled market. So I suppose there was no competition between companies to rev up their annual reports. So annual reports were just a requirement, mandatory requirement, and in that sense, it used to go with shareholders' reports. So the annual reports, there was no need for the annual reports to be nice. But then the world started changing in India in 1991 when liberalization came. And from that day onwards, I think companies have been making some attempts at producing better quality annual reports. You will ask what we mean by saying better quality annual reports. Annual reports is a document which gives information to shareholders. It helps analyze the company and look at its financials and other things. Because annual report is a report which is the wealth of the financial details of a company, the shareholding patterns, what is the company's, how much the company has made profits, what is its income, where is it coming from, where is it going, etc., etc. That is only one purpose of the annual report. That was the main purpose of the annual report. And as far as, so the information was given there. But then I'm sorry to say, a lot of Indian corporates have been used to hiding facts. So the lack of transparency which governed their operation is also reflected in the way annual reports were made. But as the economy started opening up and as competition increased, then there was greater need for more transparency. So a lot of annual reports have these days become more, what should I say, investor friendly, the reader friendly. So the more information is given these days, and that information is produced in a much better fashion, which is more reader friendly. So as a result, the annual report slowly began to be used by the company as a tool of communication. As a tool of communication not only for the investors, but also for other stakeholders in the company. Because a company which has a good annual report is also a company it is rightly related to the image of the company outside. And you see in the post-liberalization era, when a lot of Indian companies started signing up deals with foreign companies, they would have functions where the MOUs would be exchanged, and so would be the annual reports. And when that happened, an Indian promoter whose annual report looked terrible would feel a little inferior to his foreign counterpart who gave him a good annual report. And that also acted as a pressure. I am told there are some examples of that which I am not going to say here. So annual reports are being used by companies now increasingly to advertise their own achievements, advertise their own image, etc., etc. But I would still say that it's like a person wearing a good dress. Just because a person wears a good dress and looks good does not mean that he is good or that his health parameters are first class. The health parameter of a person would be good if he keeps his vitals under control, whether it's BP or weight or sugar or whatever. The annual report is like a dress, like the uniform. if you are oversized, then you wear suit which hides your bulk. But that will not detract from the fact that you are overweight. So in the similar fashion, an annual report you can dress up, but if the annual reports go, like a health bulletin goes in the hand of a proper doctor, then all those things will be exposed. So therefore, annual reports go hand in hand with the transparency required in the economy, transparency required in the corporate sector. And as the country becomes more competitive, as the corporate sector becomes more competitive, the requirement is to have more and more transparent annual reports which are well designed and well produced so as to have the maximum impact on the shareholders and other people who are interested in the company. And I really don't know whether companies are doing so and to what extent, but I guess a lot of the companies, so on an average, if you see annual reports today and compare them to say annual reports say last 25 years ago, they're far more attractive to look at. And I think a lot of companies spend a fortune also in producing annual reports, which also includes say sustainability reports and other, not only financial reports but sustainability reports also. So larger and larger, bigger and bigger corporates and more number of corporates are making great efforts today to produce their annual reports in a slick manner, in a good fashion, which will leave a lasting impact on the mind of the reader who reads the report. Because the investor cult in the country is increasing, a lot more people have a look at annual reports than would be say about 20 years ago or 25 years ago, when the number of investors in the stock market was far less. So this journey of annual reports, if I may say so, has just begun. The Indian corporate is not yet fully matured. So since he is not fully matured, the amount of compliances are also not that much. And the quality of annual reports is also improving. But we have to go a large way in making it far better. Thank you. I really don't know much about the subject, so I leave this thing. Thank you.